White people are obsessed with black people.
You probably wonder why do white people pay so much attention to black people?
White women just admit we're jealous of black women's hair.
We talk about the jealousy, fear, losing of dominance, and this is why white people are so much obsessed to black people. As black excellence and pride rise, some white people may feel threatened.
White women and men do not have creative motivation. So when they see black people have creative motivation, they become obsessed with the ideas that they see. They aren't able to breed creativity, so they become obsessed with the creative expression that they choose not to have. In simple terms, it's laziness. They are so mad and obsessed that they're now getting laws created to limit black creative expression. All of this hate when they could just admit that they're obsessed.
It is said white people are so much obsessed with black people, but they cannot say they are obsessed with black people. And it's true. White people themselves, they are admitting here on social media that they are obsessed with black people. They are jealous of black people. White women are jealous of black women. It's not me saying, but here on social media. Welcome back to my YouTube space. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. Returning subscriber, I'm humble. Thank you for your love. New subscribers, please, thank you so much. This is the place to be. Be a returning subscriber. Now, in today's video, I'm going to react on the clips. These clips I'm going to show you about white people being obsessed of black people. Of course, they are the ones saying it themselves. And I'm going to play you videos of white people admitting that they are obsessed of black people. And after watching this video, we will come here and try to react about the videos, because I know too, right? Where I knew white people are obsessed with black people, for example, it's like white people loving hip hop, but they are like, okay, they are staying silent about it, but they do love hip hop. That's one way I knew they are obsessed. Now, white women, they love the braids of black, they love the afro, but they are silent about it. So let's not talk more fast. Let's watch these clips and then we go react on it.
A lot of white folks secretly love black people, like obsessed, right? You see this with like the fetishization of black men. You see this with how much white people love hip-hop, how much white people copy black culture. The list goes on. But yeah, I think a lot of white people are just afraid to admit that because they think that's suggesting something that is wrong with them. For example, like, if you love black people, then you're like betraying white people, or you're saying that white people are bad, or you're racist or whatever. But there's so much more in black culture than hip-hop and good food. I mean, those are great things, but there's a lot, there's a lot of good things about black people, obviously. And let me put you on. Number one, they know a lot more than us. They're usually smarter than us when it comes to racism, when it comes to sociology, behavioral psychology, all that stuff, because in order to survive, a lot of black people just have to like be super cognizant of behavior and whatnot. The other thing about black culture is it's all about community and kindness and mentorship.
You've all waited for it, and now here it is. Obsessions, a series. Let's kick it off right away. Here is one way the welfare Olympians are obsessed with black Americans. White women are too obsessed with everyone's hair but their own. They are obsessed with different braid styles, sew-ins, and even claiming a recent stake of ownership in lace front wigs. They have so much to say but can't back it up because of their ego. And because they are so in their ego, they are too afraid to admit that they're obsessed with any and every style that black women do. They use obsessive and demeaning and unnecessary comments like, "Is it real?" or "Is it all yours?" Insane entitlement, thinking that you can just touch a black woman's hair, being super confused when they say no. They even laugh about it when they are told no, because they are that obsessed and think that they are that entitled to touch a black woman's hair. They literally think it's a God-given right. They demand to touch it. They will search to the very ends of their Mary Poppins bag to find a comment to say, "I promise you." White women and men do not have creative motivation. So when they see black people have creative motivation, they become obsessed with the ideas that they see. They aren't able to breed creativity, so they become obsessed with the creative expression that they choose not to have. In simple terms, it's laziness. They are so mad and obsessed that they're now getting laws created to limit Black creative expression. All of this hate when they could just admit that they're obsessed.
So I live in the South, and over the last month, I've been keeping record of the things that have been said in front of me. So the first one was a guy that I'd hired to detail my car, come to my house and detail my car. He had come a few times, and on the last time, he finished and came in to tell me that he wanted me to come look at it to make sure nothing was fucked up. So I said, surely nothing's fucked up. And he said, well, I don't want it to be fucked up like an N-word checkbook. So I looked at him in a state of horror, and he said, what? Oh, like a black guy's checkbook. And I said, just stop. Not interested in looking at anything with you now. And he said, then he started to go on some kind of rant about how he can say that because his great-grandfather was part Indian, his words. Asked him to leave, and of course never had him back. The second thing was I was at a lighting store looking at a fixture for my house, and I was talking to the lady who owned it with her husband, and both of them were out there, and I was asking questions about a chandelier, and her husband chimed in and said, oh, are you looking for chandelier? And she started to laugh, and I looked confused, and she said, oh honey, we've got a store in the hood, and those people, they come in and they call them chandeliers. And then they began to laugh, and then I walked out. The next was a guy that I was thinking about going on a date with called me one evening, and I answered the phone. I said, hey, what are you doing? He said, ironing my shirt for work tomorrow. And I said, ooh, putting in extra starch, just saying something silly. And he goes, hell no, I ain't no N-word. So then I hung up again in horror. And the last, I was thinking about buying a lot to build a house, and I ran into a guy that lived around the corner, and I was telling him about it. And he said, well, whatever you do, if you decide to ever sell it, just don't sell it to no Indians. All within the last month. And these are the same people, I can assure you, that will say and declare and claim that racism, it doesn't exist.
Guys, I was thinking that I'm only Asian girl who likes African men. But I'm not. But I'm not alone. There is 2 more Asian girls. Yeah, you see there. Okay. No. Yeah, they love African men.
Now it's time to talk about the men that can't seem to take their hands off of children. And out of respect for all of the victims like myself, that's all I'll say about that. If you know, you know. As we discussed with black women's hair, black men's hair too bears a very odd obsession. I'm sure you've noticed at all of the various college campuses and high schools that the sudden straight hair kids now are obsessed with curly hair and a fade. A clear indicator of replicating what they see, which is simply theft. Privileged women have a tendency to hold space for such hatred within their gifts, and privileged men will unapologetically steal from a black man, no problem. Which actually brings me to the obsession of black man's masculinity. Privileged men are obsessed with black men's masculinity. They obsess over the ability of the black man to shine in any circumstance. Even at the hands of the abusers, the police. Privileged men would more than likely cross-dress before they could ever fully exude the levels of godlike masculinity that black men naturally have. Privileged people hide their obsessions behind hatred, when they could just admit they're obsessed with black people.
Japanese men love their black women. Forget everything you've heard. I know they have all these Japanese beauty standards, but trust me when I say they love their black women. If you're single, get an Asian Cupid. Do whatever it is that you have to do. These men are faithful. They're very family oriented, big into fitness, and they're going to treat you right. So, for all my single sis, if you have a trip planned to Japan, even better for you. But just know you heard it here first. They love their black women. So, go find you an Asian guy, specifically a Japanese Asian guy. Okay? Just know you heard it here first.
I'm going to tell you why the Slavic women, they like the black or the really dark men. To be specific, by the way, Polish women, like Eastern Europe, they fucking love black men. And if you ask them, they'll tell you they're more masculine. They smell amazing of coconut oil. They tend to like really look after themselves. And by the way, when I go to get a manicure and a pedicure, there's always black men in there getting their nails done. They actually look after themselves, but at the same time, they're really masculine. Yeah, Dutch women go crazy for them. When you're talking about Russia, they'll sort of accept anyone if they're dark. Like, they go crazy for Mexicans. That's why Mexicans leave. They find a Russian snow bunny, they bring them back to Mexico, and then they go to LA and the story of love starts. But yeah, Slavic girls, they've just got this obsession, you know? Oh, another thing, you probably know this, but like, the darker men have more outstanding milk. And that's probably another way they're just slightly persuaded over to the dark side of life.
Welcome back. Absolutely, white people seem obsessed with black people. That's reality. And we are talking about the complicated mix of history, psychology, power dynamics, and media influence. And I'm going to show you a more in-depth breakdown of some of the root causes of how they are obsessed or how they show up their obsession to black people. Videos I've just played you speaks volume, and we can all agree it's true. They are accepting the fact. Some of who are capable or able of admitting they are, but some are just playing low. They cannot. They do not want people to know that they are loving what black people are doing. But for a long time, Africans, or for a long time, white people are accepting or accepting, or they are accepting black people, you know. So I will start with the historical roots, like the legacy of colonialism and slavery. It has played a role on this. For centuries, black bodies were commodified, slaved, displayed, and even after slavery ended, white societies continued to view black people through a distorted lens, both feared and fascinated. Another thing is legacy plays out today when white people consume black culture but don't confront the systems that oppress black communities. Example, white people, as I said, they love hip-hop. They love hip-hop, but they are silent on police brutality. So, on the historical roots, white people are obsessed with black people, but they can not talk about the oppression that's going on the black community. They are silent on it. They are silent on it. And they are obsessed of culture of black people. They love the black people culture. You know, some white people are drawn by black culture. The music, fashion, language, you know, athleticism, etc., etc. Often without understanding or respecting the historical and social context, this can sometimes turn into appropriation of culture, okay? Where elements of black culture are adapted while the people behind the culture are still marginalized. So I may say, white people are really obsessed by black people culture, but they cannot talk about the oppression that's going on. In some cases, obsession is about fetishizing blackness, seeing black people, especially women or men, as exotic, hypersexual, or physical dominant. This is rooted in colonial myths and stereotypes that still, up to today, it's still echoes. It's not genuine admiration, okay? Some white people identified with black struggle in ways that are performative or rooted in guilty rather than solidarity. This can show up in white savior behavior, where they center themselves in black issues or feel they need to rescue black people instead of working alongside them. Like white people, they feel like they are saviors to black people. Like, okay, Without us, you cannot go on. Without white people, your country, Africa, cannot move. Like they don't want to work along black people, but they feel like they are the whites, they are like the saviors. So that's one way obsessed. They keep on mingling into black people business. And even Kate Williams said, white people, they love mingling into black people businesses because they are scared of them. Sometimes I say this obsession is a mix of fear and worry. Like they fear black people, they're worried, or, they have envy fueled by media stereotypes, or they perceived coolness of black culture, combined with discomfort around black success or autonomy. So this weird tension, and it can cause people to act out of pocket, like being overly curious, intrusive, or patronizing black people. And that's why we say there's so much obsession, because they have this fear and combined mixture of fear, envy, and, so this sincerely obsession, okay? It's sincerely obsession of black people. Now, there's here an example where strong black woman or the dangers of black man, like in movies, music, news, and social media, they often exaggerate or flatten black identity, portraying black people as athletes, entertainers, or criminals. This shape how white people perceive blackness, not as full human beings, but as ideas, trends, and, some archetypes to be obsessed with, admired, feared, or mimicked. You get it. I know you get that. I understand you get what I'm trying to say. So they admire the athletic, but they fear the criminology of black people. Now, we talked about white savior, where white people keep on doing charity work in Africa and posting pictures to get praise instead of actually contributing sustainability. Okay? White people try to help black people in a way to center themselves in the middle of being the saviors. We have talked about this, and this can be exhausting for black folks, and even and often feels like performative activism rather than real solidarity. So it is actually one of the way opposition is being portrayed. We talk about the jealousy, fear, losing of dominance, and this is why white people are so much obsessed to black people. As black excellence and pride rise, some white people may feel threatened, especially those who benefit from racial hierarchies. Those who, like rich white people, they feel threatened by the rise of black people, and this turned into obsession. Watching, monitoring, or criticizing black people while not wanting them to have too much power of recognition. Yeah, that's obsession. So there is a lot of obsession of white people towards black people, and we can feel it. For example, that is like downplaying black success as a affirmative action instead of underachievement. Get that? Yeah? White people have curiosity without boundaries. Not all obsession are malicious, but sometimes it's people who have grown up isolated from other sides or other races and are curious. But without self-awareness, this curiosity become intrusive and awkward. You are so intrusive into black people. Whenever a black person is somewhere sitting like this, a white person keeps on poking his knock or her knock. That's where we see these currents. Like they are in too much of black people business, and that is obsession. When you talk about curiosity, example is like asking to touch someone's hair, asking what are you mixed with, or treating black people like a diversity checklist. For example, in China, when you go there, you can feel these ones. So white people are really, really obsessed with black people. That's why you may find some white people falling in love with white women or black women. Some you may think it's real love, but someone is obsession, or they want just to keep watch, to be like your savior. Like when I'm married to a black girl, the respect he get because, like he's looking himself like a savior. So obsession is more than just deep interest. It's when something or someone dominates your thoughts in a way that intense, constant, and often unhealthy. You know, the obsession of white people, it's unhealthy to black people. Okay? It's so unhealthy. Now, we have what we call obsession in a psychological angle. White people are so anxiety of black people. They lack boundaries because of obsession, you know, of attention to black people, unrealistic perspective because of this fear that maybe black people sometimes will come to overrule or overtake us. And white people have been enjoying the white supremacy legacy and everything that comes with white supremacy. So there's this tension that it's in between there, that if we lose this white supremacy, black people may come over us. So we keep on checking on them. When white people or black people are in stores, cereal stores, when they are in shops, you know, they keep on being followed. A black person cannot, you know, you are safe. Black person, when you are inside a supermarket, grocery store, you feel safe because each time there's a person who is watching you. A white person just following you up and down to see if you know. So you take this opportunity, like, okay, I have a bodyguard. You know, they just curious about you. Maybe you're going to steal something. It's obsession of you. You get that? So obsession is good, but it's unhealthy. This is unhealthy obsession because of curiosity, because of envy, jealousy, because of fear. The fear of black people has created this obsession. So we can say like this. White people are, they have constant thoughts of black people. They have black people always on their mind. You know? Always on their mind. Even when there is no reason. You just walking as a white person, you come across a black person, you'll be like, okay. You start watching his moves or her moves. You start reacting. You want to call police. You are obsessed. You have over attention over black people. Lack of, you know, all these things. So I may say black people are always the center of attraction. That's true. Not Asian, not Latinos, not who, but black people are always the center. Because one time I said that there is some secret towards black people. White people knows about black people. Black people, we don't know. And those few black people who are start realizing this, that's why some of them are being cancelled. But there is some things white people knows about black people. The system knows that black people are so much more. You know, the issue of black Jesus, the issue of being the real Israelites of the Bible, it's eating them up. And that's why they're so curious. They are so much over attentive towards black people. What do you say in the comment section? Is it true that white people are so much obsessed with black people? Tell me everything on the comment section. I don't know if my commentary today has matched your expectation, but I hope you have listened to it. And tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong or right. Until next episode, peace out.